Alright, it's time for Camp Lantern Appreciation Hour. Not many people in this day and age would know what this is, or how it's used actually. They'd probably guess it's a camp lantern, but it's a contraption of some sort. They wouldn't know how to kickstart it, that's for sure. I really love this thing. Got the pressure gauge here. This is where you pump it up to pressurise this. This is a release valve to depressurise it. And this is your brightness level. Now if we undo the top, undo these two knobs on each side, take the old lid off. You gotta watch that when you've been using it, she gets fucking hot, that thing. Alright, now this is the duck's guts, this one. Check her out. Oh, what's that, they say? Like somebody left an old franger on your fucking lamp. Well, that is the burning lamp. Made out of silk. I think they're made out of silk anyway. You got a little burner in underneath that. Alright, I'll tell you blokes how this thing works. Take the glass out. Right, here's the guts of it. We can just adjust the light so you can see. Now you see this little kidney shaped bowl. Alright, what we do is we get the old metho and we top her up. I'm not going to light it right now, but I'm just going to demo it. So you top this up with your metho, right? You set him on fire and he heats this pipe up, right? Which comes up and around and in the top here. I don't know if you'll be able to focus on that. There we go. Got a tiny little hole with a pin in it. Right. So when you turn this, that pin will come up and down. Alright, so what it actually does, it's a Kero lamp, and when the metho heats up this pipe and it comes out the top here, if it's not hot enough, Kero will leak out of that hole, right? But once that pipe is heated up with the metho flame, right, and you put this top on, seeing that hole there, how it goes up and around and down into the belly of the beast. What happens when it's hot enough is the Kero comes out of that hole and it vaporizes. When it vaporizes, it sets this silk sock alight. It's pretty magical to actually see it happen, see it work. It's pretty cool. I really appreciate these old camp lanterns. So it sits on there like that, and you're going to have the sock sitting down in there. Now, you think, oh, that sock's going to catch on fire from the metho here. Well, that doesn't matter because it catches on fire anyway. These socks can be like a one-shot deal because they're very fragile, and once the metho heats up that tube and the Kero comes through and vaporizes, this lights up. This lights up. It's kind of like this is the end of your cigarette, right? And this silk sock is the ash, right? So, and the ash is what gives you a bright light in this lantern. But you have to be careful not to move these lanterns when they're lit, because you know what an ash on a cigarette is like when it gets too long. It falls off at the slightest knock, and that's what happens with these mantles. I'll show you the mantle packet. Gas lantern mantles, LP gas lantern mantles. They're for gas as well. I'll just grab this one here. This is for LPG. It screws straight onto a bottle. You've got a little ignition there, which pokes up on the inside and lights the mantle. So you've got the same sort of thing. But these are called a gooseneck style burner. That's what the bend here is, the gooseneck. And these are a single use. So they just tie on with a little bit of cord here, and that's all that holds it on, right? So once you light this and it heats up, this all lights up, but you do have to have the glass in there first before you do all this. So to assemble it, you have to be patient, you have to be careful. So what you do is you put your metho in the little kidney shaped tub, you light him, you put your glass in, like so, make sure he's sitting square. Right. So you would light your metho, put your glass in, and you make sure your sock's evenly on the hang, and then you put your lid on. By this time the sock will have caught a light from the flame of the metho, but that's okay, we're not worried about that. It's going to burn anyway. We put the lid on him. Now you have to be careful not to knock that when that sock is alight, because any sudden jarring or bumps like that will destroy it, and then you'll have to start again using another mantle. So this is old school, be careful what you're doing, no just flick of a switch, this is a chore. So by now your metho will have heated up that pipe, and you should be able to release the valve here, and once you turn this you'll hear it go sss up in here, and then your light will come on, and it's like magic. And then from then on, all you have to do, this gauge will tell you how much you have to lock this little screw down. Turn this little screw till he locks up. You got to make sure all your fittings are tight. These all screw on. So once you've made sure your fittings are tight and you've locked this screw down, your little pressure gauge will come up on about 2 is pretty good. I'm not sure, I think this might have broken because it did have some glass in it. The glass, you can see a little bit of glass left in there, but I think the glass is jammed down in there and stops the needle from moving. But you can tell it'll start to get dim, and then you can come along and just unlock this by turning it and give it a couple of, half a dozen pumps, or maybe a dozen pumps or more, and then you lock it back in place and you're good for another half an hour. Like it is a thing that you've got to keep coming back to, but you don't have to recharge it. And this holds like a litre of Kero. So if you find one of these that someone's thrown out on a rubbish pile, don't walk past it. Take the glass as well, because people will buy the glass for their old burners. These are actually very collectible. The Coleman brand is very collectible. This is just a, I'll show you the brand. This is Anchor brand. It's a Chinese version, but it's stainless steel. I've had this for probably, 25 years or more. I'll show you the bottom. You can see the bottom. You want to check the bottoms that they don't have any rust on them. It's got a couple of bits of surface rust, but that's okay. The top will go very rusty because it gets burnt. It's very crusty and it gets burnt and very hot. So yeah, keep an eye out on at garage sales and on garbage piles on the side of the road. These things are awesome. Don't pass them by. Alright, Kero Lantern appreciation video is over. Jeez, guys.